Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the Happy Oreo. I think it's super awesome. I love that I got it pretty flat in shape. It looks fantastic to me. I did use brown or the cocoa bands instead of like using a black, which would be more probably truer to the Oreo color, but I didn't want to have to mess with changing the eyes, so it's still a chocolate cookie, and just like the Oreo. Don't forget you can also use colors like the pastel yellow, or even yellow itself, or mango, for kind of the light vanilla Oreo cookies that they have as well too. And then of course the filling, I'm going to use red in the tutorial, just kind of make it a little bit different because there are different color fillings on some of the Oreos too, so lots of different options to make it a little different for yourself. And band wise, it is 262 brown, and then the white is 60, and then you'll want either 7mm pony beads for the eyes or 2 bands, and then the cheeks are 2 bands, and then the mouth is 1. So we'll make the eyes and cheeks first. I'm going to use the beads, but you can use just a wrapped band, so we'll do those. If you're going to use the bead, you're going to want something that you can thread through the center of your bead. I don't know how the larger 9mm, the regular size pony beads would work on this, but they'd probably be still pretty cute. But I'm going to use the small 7mm one. I'm going to take 2 bands the color of my cookie, put them into the center of the V, close it up, thread it through the center of my bead, take out my tool. Then we have a beaded eye band. And if you don't have the beads, you can still use a wrapped band. Just take your hook, put the band on there, wrap it around 1 time to the figure 8, grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands the color of your cookie. Like that. So you'd want 2 of those or 2 of the beaded ones. And then the cheeks are made the same way as the eyes. So whatever color you want your cheek to be, on the hook, wrap it around once, into that figure 8, then grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands the color of your cookie. Like that. So you want 2 of those as well. So we have our loom, wrong end towards us, and we're first going to start by laying some bands down on the loom. We just use 6 pins up each side, right across from each other, so anywhere on your loom where you want to start that. First we're going to drop 2 bands on each pin, up 6 on each side, that is the color of your cookie. So there's 2. So that's up 3, 4, 5, and 6 pins. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. 2 bands on 6 pins up, the color of your cookie. Like that. Then we want to drop right on top of these bands that we have here 2 bands that are the color of your filling. My filling is going to be red this time. So let's put those right on top. Just makes it a little bit easier. So like that. Then you want to take a band, whatever color you're going to use for your mouth, and it's going to be wrapped around these 2 pins in the center. So you have the 6 pins, so be the outside, then go in, and then the middle 2 right here. You'll take that band and you'll wrap it around twice, so it gets a little tight, but just do your best to get it wrapped on there. Like that. So once we have that, we're going to take our cookie color and working, like right here we have the mouth and then our 6 pins in that little hexagon shape right here. we're going to do a starburst. So 2 bands, and I'm just going to start at the center pin. So here's the mouth, then this pin right here, and go out to the 6 pins around. Like that. And in the center here we'll have the 2 bands wrapped around 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll take our hook, go in through that cap band we just put on, that we wrapped around 3 times, grab the top 2 bands, wherever they are, pull them up through the center, and pull them back towards themselves, all the way around. That. And then we're going to expand this to 12. And how we're going to do that is if we just grab, we'll start over here at the 2 on the right. I'm just going to pick up the top 2 bands and pull them up 1. And then down here, I'll pick up the top 2 bands, pull them down 1. Then we'll go to the left side, do the same thing. So top 2 bands, pull them down 1. Then up here, top 2 bands, pull them up 1. And then right here in the center, I'm actually going to pick up all 4 bands first, pull them up, just so they're kind of up a little higher. Grab the top 2, I'm going to pull them over to the left. And then I'll grab the bottom 2 and pull them over to the right. So now on this end we have all the pins covered that have something dropped below. Then down here we'll do the same thing. You can just pick them up and pull them down as well. It's just kind of preference if you want to bring them down to this pin and then separate them. So I picked up the top 2, brought them over to the left, and grab the bottom 2 and bring those down. So like that. So now everything has something covered, where all the drop bands have a cover. So then our next row is actually going to be our eye row. So we're going to put the bands on a little bit differently. So just kind of follow along with me. 2 bands across the bottom. And we'll have a doubled band. So 1 band doubled. We'll go right here. Next space will be an eye. Like that. Next space will be 2 bands. And then our other eye. We'll go in the next one up. Then a doubled band, so 1 band doubled. Then 2 bands, and a doubled band, then 2 bands, and then a doubled band, 2 bands again, and a doubled band. Look like that. So then you go and you flip over the bottom 2 from the starburst that we kind of expanded there in the center. We're not going to do anything with our dropped bands yet. So just the bottom 2. Go ahead and put those over. that. Push those down. Then we're going to do a cheek row. So you want your cheeks. So 2 bands down here on the bottom, and 2 bands again. And then right where the eyes are, you're going to do the cheeks below those. And then right here in the center, we're actually going to double a band. So 1 band doubled. And another cheek. And then it'll be 2 bands around the rest of the row. Like that. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll flip the bottom 4. Sometimes it'll be, it's 4 bands, but sometimes it'll be 1 band that's doubled, so it'll look like 2 bands, but it's 4. So flip over the 4 bands, again leaving the dropped bands alone. Like so. Push your bands down. And then what you want to do is take your mouth band that we put on earlier and just flip that up over the top of the pin on both sides. And then push your bands down again if you need to. Then we're going to do a row all the way around with 2 bands in our cookie color still. So 2 bands all the way around. I really like how the face turned out on this one. Not easy to get it right all the time, that's for sure. Like that. Then you'll flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Looks like I forgot one last row. Fix that real quick. There. Now 4. Like that. So you go ahead and come in here and kind of pull these bands up over the pin so they come towards the center. Push all your bands down. Now we are going to do an X row. We're going to work on the edge here. So what we're going to do is take 2 bands. We're going to go all the way around, but we're going to cross them as we put them on. Like that. And you go all the way around doing that. Just 2. Alright, so once we have this, we're actually going to go right on top of it with another row without flipping anything yet. So just kind of push them down a little bit so you'll recognize on the side that we have the bottom 4 from what we loomed the previous row, and we just put on another row of 4. We're going to go right on top of that again. So it gets a little squishy, but hopefully it won't be too bad. This 2 bands all the way around. Gives it a nice edge. Like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip over that crossed row that we put on. So it's the middle 4 bands. That's a little hard to tell here. Push these down a little more. So you have the bottom 4 bands from before. Then you have our crossed row, 4 bands. And then you have 4 bands from the row we just put on. So we want to get the middle 4 bands and flip those over the top. And once you start going, it gets a little bit easier to recognize them. Just get those flipped up and over. And do the same thing on the other side. My cough medicine is kicking in or something. A little jittery. So that's what these sides should look like now. So what we need to do is we need to actually bring up those 4 bands that we have down here, bring those up through our top 4 bands. So to do that, I'm going to take my hook, go through the top 4 bands, grab the bottom 4 bands. We're still just dealing with the cookie part, we're not paying any attention to the dropped bands yet. I'm going to grab those, pull them up through, and everything that's on the pin is going to come off. And then what's on my hook is going to go back onto that pin. And we're going to do that all the way around. So through the top 4, grab the bottom 4, pull them up through, hang them onto them, pull off the stuff on the pin, and then what's on your hook goes back onto the pin. And just do that for each one. Take your time. Don't want to lose any bands now. My hands are shaking. Must be just out of practice. Do the same thing on the other side. Through the top 4, grab the bottom 4, pull them up. Make sure you get all 4 bands back onto the pin. That's usually where I goof up. Last one. So you just want to go around and make sure that you have the 4 bands back on the pin, and we didn't have any fall off, because if you did, right now would be the time to fix them. I'm good. Move this towards the center. So now what we're going to do is we are going to use our filling bands that we dropped, some of my red ones for me. I'm going to grab those. So I'll grab it with one hand, take my hook, go in through the 4 bands that are on the pin, grab those filling bands through the center, pull them up, put them on my pin or on my hook, then pull what's on the pin off, and then the filling color goes back onto the pin. And you're going to do that for each one of the pins. Grab your filling color, go in through the bands on the pin, pull up your filling, back on your hook, take the bands off the pin, and then put the filling back onto the pin. I'm still trying to figure out a way to kind of do this step and the last step together, but it just doesn't quite work out very well. It gets too complicated. So we just do them separately. So now we're a little bit, almost halfway done, so that's good. And one more. So like that, we still have our 2 bottom drop bands, and then all the other pins have the filling color on the pins. So push those down, and now we're going to do a row around with the filling color. I used 3 bands to do this, just to kind of give it a little bit extra while not adding another row, because otherwise it gets too tall. And I think this is already almost, I guess, double stuffed Oreo size, so I didn't want to add too much more by adding another row. So we're just going to do this next part with 3 bands. So just 3 bands all the way around. You can, of course, just use 2 here if you want. That's up to you. But I'm using 3. So you could save like 12 bands if you need to. Like that. Then you go around and flip over the bottom 4 bands all the way around of the filling color. We still leave the drop bands alone until the next step, actually. So the bottom 4, so you're flipping over, and there still should be 6 on the pin. Like that. So I'm going to take this and pull at the center. Like that. So we're done with the filling color. So now what we're going to do is our last puffing that we're going to do, I guess. So same thing, we're going to grab these bottom 2 bands that are laying there. Put our hook through the filling color bands, grab those bottom cookie color bands, pull them up through, both ends back on the hook, pop off your filling color, and then put your cookie color back onto the pen. And you'll do that all the way around. On all the pins. Other side. Few more to go. And last one. So now it should not be so complicated, hopefully. Unhook my ends here. Looking pretty sweet. Adorable. So now we need to work on the edge for the lower part. So push all your bands down. And again, we need to have an X row all the way around. So 2 bands crossed all the way around. So yes, we'll have to do one of those annoying steps one more time. That's technically not the puffing that we just did, so when I said that we were done with that, then I was telling the truth. Just we have to do the other one, which is not as fun either, but but it looks awesome when you're done. Last one. So we have our X row. So we want to push those down a little bit. And then once again, right on top, it'd be 2 bands, just a regular row. I think this cookie will be perfect for Valentine's Day too. So like that. And then again, we're going to flip the middle 4 bands. So we won't do anything with the bottom 4, which are the puffing from the color change there. And we have the middle 4 we're going to flip, and then the top 4 from the row we just put on. So find those middle 4 bands and bring those up and over. If it's easier, like I can see, here's one side, and then there's the other side. So you have to flip over all 4 at once. Just kind of what you can see. Last one. Alright, so now you should have 8 bands on your pins. We need to do the same thing we did before, where we bring up the bottom 4 through the top 4. So to do that, put your hook through the top 4, grab the bottom 4 bands, pull them up through, and then everything comes off the pin, and then what's on your hook will go back onto the pin. And you'll do that all the way around. Just make sure you get all 4 bands back onto the pin. Because like I said, that's usually where I goof. I think I have it wrapped all the way around and then get done and be like, why is there that band hanging right there? Same thing to the other side. One. Like so. Then you want to push your bands down. So now we're going to do a alternating double row around. So right here at the bottom, be 2 bands, then 1 band doubled, then 2 bands, then 1 band doubled, then 2 bands, 1 band doubled, 2 bands, 1 band doubled, 2 bands, 1 band doubled, 2 bands, and 1 band doubled. So once you have that, you'll flip over the bottom 4 all the way around. That. Push your bands down. Now we'll do a row all the way around with 2 bands. Like that. Flip over the bottom 4. And we will do another alternating double row around. So again, 2 bands starting here at the bottom, and then a band doubled in the next spot. And just alternate that as you go around. So 2 bands, 1 band doubled, 2 bands, 1 band, 2 bands, 1 band, 2, double band, 2, and double band. Like that. So then you go ahead and flip over the bottom 4 again, all the way around. Like that. Pull it up. Make sure it's not stuck on any pins. And now we're ready to close. And before I close it, I am going to use the latch hook to do so. And because we have the doubled bands in here, I don't want anything to snap, so I found that if I take this one group of bands right here on this pin, lift them up, and bring them back a pin, just set it right on top. I'll unhook this too. And I'll leave it like that. And then I'll take my latch hook, or you can use a long crochet hook as well, or make the single chain. And if you made the single chain to weave through here, then you wouldn't need to move this one forward. But take my latch hook, I'll start going around and picking up all the bands. all the way around. And then as I get to this last couple, I'll pick up this one normally, and the last one, because I want the order of the bands to still be the same once I pull it off, I'm going to take my hook underneath those bands, instead of coming down, hook underneath, and put them on the hook. So now they should be in the correct order around the bottom of the circle. So then you want to take 2 bands, pull them through, both ends on the hook, make your slip knot, and before you pull tight, you want to squish your cookie to the correct shape. Just make sure you have it nice and roundish. Then you can pull tight, hide your tail, of course I snag something. Then you may have to go around, adjust some things, like the puffing bands from the flip. Squish it back together. And up here on the top, just adjusting the top because we had it spread out the different way. You want to split the face back apart. Yikes. Hold on to your hooks. So when it flattens out, they spread apart and the eyes don't go on top of each other. Got a rogue band. Fix your cheeks if you need to. Get the crossed bands hidden. All those good things. But I think it's adorable. Turns out pretty sweet. To come up a little bit. There we go. Better. I love them because I think they turn out nice and flat the way they should. Nice and squishy. Tuck in my sides here. It's kind of a balance between adjusting and over adjusting, I guess. But I hope that you find them as adorable as I do. If you have made one of these, I'd love to see it on my Instagram, which is at Crafting Fantastic, or on my Facebook, which is feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. And then, of course, it would be awesome if you would give this video a thumbs up. Thought I was going to say something different, didn't you guys? Totally switched it up on you. And it would also be awesome if you subscribe to my channel here, feelinspiffy, and then so you'll see when I have new things coming out. But I just want to thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoy your Happy Oreo. And like I said, please share them with me if you make them. And happy looming. I will have more for you soon.